Hi guys, just a quick video. We did a video this morning. We sort of walked everyone around. We were talking through the different jobs and stuff that we've got in today, and one of which was a smart car that we've got a back bumper to repair on. And actually said I'd be welding it. Now a couple of people are asking how we sort of achieve that really. Now obviously with a plastic bumper, I'll just turn the camera around. With a plastic bumper, obviously it's plastic, so naturally a lot of these are formed with heat anyway. And there was quite a nasty crack, as you would have seen, sort of running down the back here. If I get this nice and close, you can see I've actually run a really hot soldering iron all the way up there and given it sort of a really nice amount of heat, which just sort of makes it soft enough that you can sort of press it together. But what will happen is within this crack there'll still be like a little micro crack where it's not quite healed up. So what we basically do, just show you this, I might be able to get this on here, I might not. Okay, so you can see where this crack is now. So we basically just apply a bit of heat back in there, and we're now just going to push the bead back into the middle again, which should add the strength back into it, because obviously as you weld it, the weld sort of spreads a little bit. So we're just going to gently push this back in here. So it's a bit hard to do with a camera in your hand, but and then you can see it sort of starts to level it all back out again. Now this really, I mean, when you compare the cost of a bumper, the cost of a bumper for this might be, I don't know, 100 something quid or something like that. This repair's probably only taken me about maybe 10 minutes to do. So I guess in labour it will cost about, I don't know, 10, 15 quid or something like that. So that's sort of nearly 100% saving off the cost of the bumper, because even if we had a new bumper, there's still normally a little bit of prep work and stuff to do. So you can see what I'm actually doing here is just literally welding it now, and then pushing that weld bead back into the middle. Just getting the temperature just right. You see it just starts to soften, and then we push it back into the middle like this again. Now another thing that sometimes we do as well, if you've got something like it's got a bit of a slightly wider crack on it, we actually use cable ties, because they're made of ABS plastic, and it's normally a very sort of similar material, and you can actually use them as sort of filler rods. I'll see if there's any around. I can actually give you a bit of a demonstration, but now you can see there's no filler in this at all at the moment, and I'll show you in a second. That should be as strong as sort of the original plastic. Because we're using the original material, we're doing is literally reforming it and then pushing it back to where it came from and sealing that crack up with heat. So just quickly get this pushing through like this. Sorry, right, totally wrong place. Okay, so again I'm just heating it up, and you can see I'm just gently pushing it back into the middle just to kind of seal that bead back up again. Just like that, and then we're going to start at the bottom here and work our way back up, just pushing the material back into where it sort of would have originally come from. And then what I generally tend to do is just level it out with heat like this, and then you see that just spreads the plastic out, gives it a nice even consistency and depth all the way through. Okay, same up here. Just gently heat it up, and then push it all the way across like that. Now these are the bits where a lot of people tend to not put the time in, and these are the cracks. This is like where there's like an edge actually in the bumper. So again, all I'm going to do is literally just weld it together like that, put the heat in and create a bead, and I'm going to spread that bead out and push it back into the middle where obviously it needs the reinforcement. So all we're doing is just literally spreading that back in now, and it gives us a nice even sort of finish on it as well. Now the reason we're showing you this is not so you can go and attempt it yourself, but so you can see that as a business we do our best to try and keep your money in your pocket. And sometimes these little jobs that we do here, yeah, sometimes it's easy just to whack a new bumper on, but there's no skill in that, is there? Anyone could do that. So we sort of pride ourselves on trying to do the best that we can to keep your money in your pockets. Okay, so we'll just let that cool down for a bit now. Just reform that little lip up there, so that's right. And I'll show it around, turn it around and show you what we've done on the other side. Sorry about the noise, but like I said, we've got a couple of different cars in today. And then what we normally do in this area here is we'll actually then get some 2-pack epoxy glue as well, and we'll pack it with 2-pack glue, and that just gives it an extra little bit of reinforcement around the back as well. So once this is actually cooled down, you see it's starting to get its flex back in it now. Flip this over, and you can basically see that I've done the same on the front side here. So originally what we've done is we've got an 80 grit paper, we've scratched away all the paint around here, which means there's no contamination in the plastic itself, it's just literally bare plastic. And then again, where I've already sort of leveled this out quite a lot, there's not a single piece of filler in this so far, nothing at all. Okay, so you can see I'm just leveling this all back out again, making sure all that material's in the middle where it needs to be for the strength, just like that. There we go. Now some of you might be saying this is like, you know, if you didn't know what you were looking at, you might say this is a way of bodging it up or whatever, and it's totally not. You got to remember, these bumpers are formed with just the basic material, and obviously heat. So all we're basically doing is redistribution that material back to where it needs to be to actually get rid of the crack. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that as a starting point. So let's turn that off. So you can see here now, there's no filler in that at all, and you can see that it doesn't sit high. It's nice and flat. There's no sort of cracks or anything else in it, and now that material's gone nice and solid, you can see it's not cracking, it's not flexing or anything else. Well, so that's pretty good. So what we'll do now is we'll get like an 80 grit paper or something like that on a block. So over to my magic shelf over here, and I'll get myself a little block. Just pop this on here. Sorry about the camera being a bit all over the shop at the moment. Set this up on this. Okay, now you can see if we gently start going over this, just move that across onto the bumper a little bit, so we just gently start going over this, and you can actually see already, just by the fact that it's white and it's fairly consistently white, all these dark bits you can see are actually where it's low on the thing. So we'll just start going over that a little bit, and then just gently taking that material and just levelling it back out again. Now this is an 80 grit, so this is quite aggressive. Sorry about the noise, it might be quite annoying. Okay, still we're doing literally scratching that material up until it starts to get nice and level. And now, if you look at that now, it's pretty much nice and flat. You will need a skim of filler in it just to kind of level it back out again. But that's it. So that's basically how we'd go about repairing as opposed to just replacing a bumper. And once that's back on the car, that should be nice and strong. We'll get some epoxy resi around the back of it. And that's it, 100 quid saved on a repair. So there we go, all wood at the back. Nicely done, nice and solid, and back round the front as well. It's a bit of a flat out now, level it out, just strip it all down, take all the bits off it, and then and give it a paint go back on the car. So there we go, Steve from Classic Magic, with a bit of plastic welding, a little bit of an insight for you as to what we do and why we do it. Any repairs, give us a shout, pop them in, we'll have a look, give you a price. Thanks guys, bye.